Hi, I'm Ken, and I'm the lead designer for Melrose International. I'm here today to share with you some ideas to help decorate your home and fill your life with lots of Christmas cheer. We're going to make wall swags, or perhaps you want to put it on a door. But anyway, I'm going to share with you two different ideas of two different types of swags. The first one we're going to make is a horizontal swag. And it's so easy to do because you use the table surface as part of your mechanics. We're going to start by taking some of this pine stem here, fluff it a little bit. What's nice about it, it's got a lot of different pine cones in there of different sizes, so it's sort of a very interesting little pine stem. We're going to take another one, fluff it out a little bit. Don't spend a lot of time fluffing right now, because as you build this, you're going to see that it's going to compress a little bit and you're going to need to get in there and really fluff it out again later. What we're going to do is take this one and intersect it and cross the stems going in the opposite direction. Now we've created this long plane of pine and pine cones. Notice our center point here where all the pine cones, the larger ones, are clustered. That's our access point, and this point is very important because that's where you're going to tie the majority of this swag together. Now we've got the foundation built for our swag. Next, we're going to take just a wintry branch. I sort of like this branch. It's got these little icy crystals on there. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. Just insert it in and dissect right through where the intersection of the pine cones are. Take a second one and do it going the opposite direction. The nice thing about this, it becomes very symmetrical, and that makes it easy for you right now to make sure that you're doing it, or you think that your composition is coming together nicely. So we have two of the same pine branches, two of the linear ice branches, and then we're going to take two clusters. Now these clusters come with berries, pine, a few foliage leaves there, and then a blossom of red velvet hydrangeas. We're going to do the same thing with this one. Remember where our center point is, and we're going to take the other one, go the opposite direction. You might have to lift some of the branches up, get them out of the way a little bit. Actually, we're going to go from this way. This one's a little tighter to get in there because you've got so many stems going on. Turn that leaf back around. So we have now our horizontal swag going on, and just to fill the center, I have an extra little berry branch, but I'm going to wait. Well, no, let's go ahead. Let's put this one in now. And it doesn't matter which direction you go. This is the only item that's going to offset our balance. Remember, we have our symmetry going with pine, the branches, and then the cluster. Then we have the same thing repeated on the other side. Now we have one extra cluster in the middle of these pine cones and berries, but that's okay. That's going to fill the center in when we complete this design. Now we need to tie our bundles together, or our horizontal swag. I like to use cable ties because they work so nicely to really secure it tightly, and you can pull them, and it just really is a good device to use to anchor and tie things together. Sometimes your cable tie isn't quite long enough, and I'm concerned this one isn't going to be long enough, so you can extend them. You can add two together, and which we're going to do, and we're going to remove the little excess that's hanging out, get rid of that. Now I have a long enough piece to go around my whole bundle here. You can slide it in from the front or the back, it doesn't matter. Make sure that you get all the stems included inside there. Pull your cable tie tight, as tight as you can get it. Remove the excess stem. And now we're going to finish the bouquet off with a bow. I've already pre-made the bow, and that's very important that you do that, because I like to have everything ready, so as soon as I get done or get to that point, I can just add it in. So I've taken the time and I made my bow to prepare before we started. So we're going to take this ribbon now And we've had 2 wires added to it. When we tied it, so the wires now become my mechanics to add it to my bouquet. So I'm going to turn the bouquet over and take the wires and just pull and twist them as tight as you can. And while you've got it upside down now, this is a time when you can use some more cable tie. Sometimes one cable tie right in the middle isn't enough because it will pivot. So what I like to do is take an extra one, go in there and get some of the branches underneath. You don't have to get them all, but get a number of them. And you can secure one side and then the other. Let's get all these little stems. Let's go down all the way to that wintry white branch. Get that. We've got our pine in there and then all the other big stems going across. Remove the excess. Remember our wire that we started with? I like to keep that was on our bow. I like to take this then and make just a little loop. Twist it off. You can remove them or bend them back down into your bouquet. I'm just going to bend these down, but you can take your wire cutters and get rid of the excess. But that little loop now is going to become our hanger so that we can hang it. Flip your bouquet back over. Now you need to do some final shaping. Make sure you take the ribbon, fluff it up. All the wired ribbon is beautifully, makes it easy, I should say, to restore the shape of your bow. Remember that one little cluster we put in the middle? Let's bend that up and get it up into the ribbon so that it's part of our design here. Remember I told you later we're going to go back through and fluff some of our winter branches. Let's pull them up through, give it a little more dimension and depth on there. And your bouquet is done. I did finish my bow off with the dovetail cut, just for something interesting on there. And now we've created our horizontal swag. Now I'd like to share with you the other swag. This one's called the vertical swag. The mechanics here are very similar to the first swag I shared with you, but just the application's a little different. Where before we had a lot of symmetry. This time we're going to overload one side and keep the other side shorter and smaller. So we're going to start with my swag going this direction, and we're going to add a couple pine boughs. I'm going to overlap them, but to give me a little extra length, I've cut the one stem off so that it's about the same length now when I overlap them. This is going to be the bottom part of the vertical swag. Now I'm going to add a few more pine boughs. We're going to add one going across. This is going to be the top. And I told you that we're not going to do symmetry here. Notice that I got a different pine going up this way, and it's a lot shorter. We're going to add 2 more up there, just to give us a little bit more width up at the top. And actually, I'm going to slide these down under. Okay, so the stems are under the bouquet. Now in the middle of the bouquet, I'm going to take one of our wonderful clusters that we have. The clusters are really nice to work with because they offer a lot of variety of product. We have the pine, we've got a couple different pines. We've got the incense cedar, we got a long needle pine, some red berries, and some beautiful pine cones. We're just going to lay that on the bottom part of our swag. And I'm also now going to add some blossoms to this. This is a felt poinsettia spray. It has 5 beautiful little blossoms, and we're just going to insert that in. Remember, you can lift and separate if you need to be. This is going to be the trailing part of our bouquet. Don't worry about fluffing it right now. There'll be time when we get done. Now we're going to take another blossom. This is another felt poinsettia blossom, but of course it's a lot larger. This is going to be the focal point of this vertical swag. We're going to insert this one in up at the top. Make sure our pine in there. And our point of intersection here where everything is coming together is right by the pine cones and just underneath this large swag. This is where we're going to tie it together with our cable ties. I think we can use one regular cable tie, slide it up under, and make sure you get all of the stems trapped in there. Lift if you have to. And then pull your cable tie tight. Remove the excess again. See, the application of the mechanics here is just like the other one, but the difference is the balance. This side's longer, drippier. As you can see, it doesn't carry as much weight, but physically it does because it has the length. Up here, we have a lot of visual weight because we have a large blossom and we're creating a little more width to the bouquet, so that this vertical swag now has a focal point and a focal area up high as it sort of cascades down our wall or our door, which we're going to apply it to later. At that point of intersection where we tied it with the cable tie, we're going to add a little ribbon. I've already created a bow, taking my 2 wires, and you can flip your bouquet over at this point, tie your wire, make a little loop so that you can hang it, and you can remove that wire. I will cut that off later with my wire cutters. In the meantime, I'm just going to bend it out of the way. Remember our stems that were coming down and going this way? We're going to tie them again just to give a little more support and anchor it a little better. Remove the excess. Do it again down at this end. Now we can flip our bouquet back over, and with some little bit of fluffing, fixing, we can straighten out our ribbon. Remember to fluff all of those loops. It's nice to have all that beautiful wired ribbon, so you can just re-fluff. Do a little bit of shaping to our loops. And our large focal flower here is this poinsettia. We're just going to pull it forward so that it really stands above the bouquet, and it overlaps our ribbon here. Ribbon is a beautiful object or material to add to things, but it shouldn't stand alone. It should be tying everything together. So I always like to put a focal point over the ribbon and let the ribbon sort of cascade and fall away from it. Don't forget our little blossoms that are cascading down. They need a little loving care also. Do a little bit of shaping on those. I like how these felt flowers have just a little hint of sparkle on there. They have a little frost snow, sort of taking it into the holiday season. The ones down at the bottom, I'm going to keep them a little closed as if maybe this is graduating blooms as it's cascading down. Shape your pine a little bit, and you're basically done. You've got your hanger on the back, you've got your ribbon tying it all together, and you have your focal point. Here we have our vertical wall swag. So here are the 2 swags, our horizontal and the vertical. The horizontal, there's so many different applications where you can use this in your home. I can see this on top of a mantelpiece, or maybe just used as a centerpiece with a few candles on your dining room table. You can hang it above a doorway, maybe above a picture or a special piece of artwork that you have in your home. But there's so many different things you can do with it. If you have a large wreath, you can attach this to a wreath and it becomes an instant decoration on there. The horizontal swag, there's so many different things you can do, and I could even see using this as a memory piece to put on somebody's headstone. It's just a little bit of shaping, and you can just attach it there, a beautiful decoration for any graveside. Another thing I like to do with them is to actually bend it in a hairpin or a U shape, give a nice bend to it, a nice arch, bend the ends down. It's a great decoration to put on your mailbox. The horizontal swag is a wonderful thing, and it's so simple to do. Now the vertical one, it's just as simple to do, and I think I like this one even better because I like the vertical lines. I like strong, long linear lines. You can put this on a door. You can hang this on the window. You can hang this just on a wall. I've actually done several pieces like this where I've hung them on opposite sides of a window and maybe by a sconce or something, so it becomes a wall decoration with some other ideas. You can make outdoor ones that you can put on your lights outside on either side of your garage door or by your front door. The linear version of the swag, to me, in that vertical format is really one of the characteristics that I like. And the best thing about doing all of this is, yeah, this is seasonal, it's Christmas, but at Melrose we have product for all season. I don't care if it's spring, summer, or fall. You can find all of the component pieces and all the complementary stems between the foliage, the linear branches, berries, and blossoms. Everything to pull your composition together. Make the swag a thing that you need to put into your basket this year.